Hey everyone, hey Sinistello. So it is time to storyboard. Let's get to it. I know we have some things written down here and there. I wonder if I should just keep adding tabs to this. No, probably not. I'll make a special document for it. Let me go figure out where I'm going to make this thing. I've got a location for it all. I just got to find it. Open location. Google Docs. Okay, cool. Yeah, so here we go. New document. Hey, strongly typed. Oh, hi to you. All right, so Skeleseller intro. Overview. I want to storyboard the intro to the game. That's what I just wrote here. We go adventuring, get poisoned, die, and then start Skeletown. And I want to figure out what art we need. Retired Android, thanks for the sub. Welcome back, welcome back. 14 months. 14 months of support. I appreciate it. I want to figure out what art we need, and then I want to prototype what this might look like. Okay, so what are the important points here? You are an adventurer on your first day of adventuring, and you set out from town and make it to the forest. You fight a bat and win pretty easily. You fight a snake and get bitten, but then win the fight. The poison is chipping away at your life. So you head to a town to get an antidote. You talk to the potion vendor, but they don't have an antidote. You die. All right, so how long should this be? How do we communicate these things? What does this look like? And what kind of other elements do we need here, like life bars or speech bubbles? Let's make a new tab. We'll call this, I don't know, design, and I'll make a new one called scratch. Okay. Simplest possible thing we can do is just like opening shot. There's a... Wait, no, hang on. I have some questions before we even get to this. I gotta figure this out. Questions. Is the town you start from the one that you go to in order to buy a potion or an antidote? I'm selling. I'm raking in cash. How's it going, Matt? Because I feel like it would have to be, right? Why would you go fight bats in some like random forest super far from your hometown? We could, I mean, there could be a reason, right? We can come up with a reason. But the reason why I feel like this has to be, I feel like the answer has to be no. Since you would presumably know your own town and know where to find an antidote. Maybe it's just never answered. Maybe you're just out adventuring from some... I don't know. Yeah, we could show you moving on an overworld map. Actually, this would be a good time to use the overworld map, like the zoomed out one that we have from Super Retro World. Where is that? Super Retro World Overworld. Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. Super Retro World Overworld. Overworld, where are you? Here. Yeah, like we could show your character walking from out of town and then getting to the forest. And then when they get poisoned, they walk to another town. There's a lot of work. I don't know that we even need to explain this though, and I'm not sure what the opening shot is going to be exactly, because we might, like, one way I could picture this is we show an overworld view like this, and we have your little character. It's pretty much like a dot on the map almost, and you just see a speech bubble saying like, "Oh boy, time to start adventuring," and you make it into the woods, and then we like cut to the top-down view of your character. They're like swinging their sword at a bat. They're doing damage, and then they kill the bat. Cool. They get some experience or whatever. Actually, they wouldn't need to get experience, right? They need to earn some loot. I guess they get a blue potion. Maybe they don't get anything from the bat. And they kill a snake. And then they get poisoned. No, I think it's just got to be the town that you're from. No, yeah. I don't know why you'd start adventuring so far from your town. Could be mid-journey to some epic quest and far from home. Died to a snake before even starting the real quest in a junk middle of nowhere town. Oh, yeah, like maybe you traveled somewhere for work, basically? Yeah. Maybe you traveled for work, i.e. a quest. Although presumably in those travels you would get into a battle. People probably just assume you graduated an academy or something. Yeah. Yeah, maybe we just don't answer this. But like, okay, let's try to put ourselves in the shoes of someone who is on a quest for some reason. You've got like a sword and a shield. You go out, you fight some bats. You need some first aid after a battle. Wouldn't you know where to find that in your own town? Wouldn't there be some equivalent of a hospital or an apothecary? Twitch didn't send a notification. Did Discord? Did that go out? Yeah, okay. Looks like it did. Yeah, I think we just don't answer this. I think we go with that. Sorry, going back to the scratch pad then. Opening shot. You're leaving your hometown. Show dialogue. Oh boy, time to start my very first quest. Yeah, something like that. And show action. Your character is walking into the forest. Yeah. Then the forest shot. You encounter a bat. Show your life bar and the bat's life bar. Show the two characters attacking each other. You kill the bat in like 2 swings, and the bat does, I don't know, like 10% damage to you. Story and art is giving me its vibe. No, I've never heard of that. Huh, interesting. Yeah, never heard of that. You encounter a bat, show your life bar and the bat's life bar, show the two characters attacking each other. You kill the bat in like 2 swings. The bat does 10% damage to you. Maybe show dialogue. Easy. This is really fun. Okay, so now a second forest shot. You encounter a snake. Show your life bar and the snake's life bar. Show the two characters attacking each other. The snake bites you. Zoom in and slow down on the text poisoned and show a particle system on the main character. And then show you beating the snake. And then what do I say in the Skeleseller app at that point? It's a piece of cake. Keep on going until you're starting to feel it. Yeah, so now the turnaround shot, I guess. Feels good. Yeah, I think we need to have something like that. I think we should try to stick to the rap as closely as possible, but I don't think we need the character to rhyme. So after beating the bat, keep the life bar on screen and show your life ticking down. Show dialogue. I don't feel so good. Show your character going back the way they came from. And maybe show a... Ooh, we don't have an antidote graphic, or we didn't designate one at least, but we should probably show it in a thought bubble, right? Like show an antidote in a thought bubble, indicating that your character wants an antidote. Let me take a look. Yeah, here. We must have something that'll work. I mean, it's just got to be any of these graphics, right? What color would you associate with an antidote? And it doesn't have to be one of these colors that we have. Yellow. Yeah, I don't have anything else. Or potentially that white potion. Well, it's got to be obvious that there's a liquid inside. The white one's not so obvious. Yeah, let's show the yellow one, I guess. Large yellow potion. Okay, so town shot. Show your character making it to town. They approach a potion vendor. That means you're getting antidotes early in the game. I think the one that you get in the game is this one, the one without the like special handles on it. Although we could always change that. Or maybe we make a special color, like an orange one, or something that we otherwise don't use for anything else. I mean, I can change colors easily enough. I just can't draw stuff myself. Yeah, anyway, we'll show some color. It doesn't really matter whether it's yellow or not, I guess. Show your character making it to town. They approach a potion vendor. And I had something written down in the game design doc for this. Where was it? Building it. Hang on, let me just read this whole thing. Dream is to be an adventurer. You're out questing one day when you encounter a poisonous snake. You win the fight, but the poison dealing 1 HP of damage. You head to the nearest town, no shops. Come back to a skeleton. Well, I thought I wrote something here about this. Wait. I had a joke idea in here somewhere. Let me search the jokes that we had. I thought I had it somewhere. Trinket. No, this. No, yeah. Huh, weird. I thought I had it somewhere. Push. Well, anyway, the idea, I thought I might have had some funny phrasing or something. The idea was like, you die after asking for the antidote, and then the potion vendor's like, oh, I had plenty of life potions. I could have kept you alive at least. You wouldn't have cured the poison. But I don't even know if we need to do that. Maybe it's like the potion vendor just has other stuff for some reason. Or it'd be funny if they have an antidote, but you couldn't afford it. Just let you die. I don't think that's as good as them not having an antidote, though. So show your character making it to town. They approach a potion vendor and ask for an antidote. The potion vendor doesn't have any. Maybe, can we communicate all the dialogue with just emotes, basically? Like, we could show a happy face for, oh boy, time to start my first quest. And then the communication of, like, do you have an antidote could just be like, antidote question mark? And the vendor could have, like, antidote and then, like, a sign with a slash through it, the interdiction sign. I love it. Please add this. Please add what? Which part, Dane? Oh, the part about you not being able to afford it? People would be like, an American must have made this game. Potion vendor doesn't have one. You keel over and die. And then Skeleton shot. Fade to black. Fade from black. Start tutorial. Yeah, and then we need to allow for skipping this too. I should probably write that down somewhere. Oops. What is going on right now? Allows skipping the intro cutscene. Players should be able to skip by clicking a skip button somewhere, or maybe holding escape. Devs should be able to skip with the debug flag. All right, so what do we got here? You're leaving your hometown. Oh boy, time to start my very first quest. Characters walk into a forest. You encounter a bat. We show your life bar. Two characters are attacking each other. Kill the bat pretty quickly. Oh, we need music. Oh my god. Oh, that's going to be difficult. I'd like to time it to what's happening, but that means we need to like really plan this out, huh? Or maybe we do the heartbeat thing that we have. Yeah, that might be better. Do the sound design for all of this. Attacks, drinking, or attacks, etc. should be easy enough. We should have all of those. We probably want to cut the music and play a heartbeat effect. And maybe some ragged breathing. I already technically have all of that recorded, although it's not very hard. Maybe some ragged breathing, and we probably want to fade out the music if we don't outright have some tense music there instead. I had some ideas for some tracks that sounded a little bit more melancholy, but I don't think they were like adventurous melancholy. I think they were just regular melancholy. I think we need something that's like you're gonna die kind of music. You just play Chopin's funeral theme from what is Second Sonata. I don't know. Also, I'm wondering, was that his third sonata or his second one? I don't recall. Let's plug this thing in. All right, so what do we have for that? No, I don't think that'll work. I think starting with maybe the main theme. I think starting with that is fine. And then getting to the point where we could pitch shift it. We could warp it like I did for the Skeleseller wrap. Fade out the music. We could try pitch shifting it. Is there a way to do that in Godot, I wonder? Oops, let's meant to click there. Wait, what? What's going on? You can't click away from this? There we go. All right, audio stream player. Oh, pitch scale, nice. So we could presumably just load in the town theme and then change the scale as it's playing. I pressed the wrong button. Let's try that again. Delete me. Oh, we got it set as autoplay. All right, it's really, really quiet. I know you can't really hear it, but let's try changing this. Oh, actually, I guess we can raise it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we turn this down. Yeah, that's perfect. I think that's all we need to do. We just lower it until it's off. Yeah. That'll work. That'll work for sure. Change the... Sorry, I had to sneeze. What's this called? Yeah, pitch scale of the music, just like in the rap. Turns out all I was really doing with that April Fool's stuff was just storyboarding. Yeah, I think the rest of the sound design should be easy enough. I was concerned about the music and I wanted something unique, but I don't think it needs to be unique. In fact, I think by having it be unique, we're going to have something that people see for like 20 seconds of the game and then never again. So it's probably just not worth the effort, but we can always change it in the future. What else do we have here? So show two characters attacking each other. You kill the bat in like 2 swings. The bat does 10% damage to you. Show dialogue. Nice. I won my first battle. No, I don't think so. I kind of liked what I had written here first. Easy. This is really fun. I don't know about that. This is really fun part. Maybe just easy clap. Poggers. Show Adam W in chat. Second 4 shot, you encounter a snake. Show your life bar and the snake's life bar. Actually, maybe there can even be 2 bats here. And you kill them each in 1 hit. And that way you kill the snake in 1 hit too. I'll just write a note there. Note, it could be 2 bats that you encounter. And you kill each in 1 hit. And I guess another note, we could have the attack animation be a swoop instead of how it looks in the game battles. Show dialogue, easy. You counter a snake. Show your life bar and the snake's life bar. Show the 2 characters attacking each other. Snake bites you. Zoom in and slow down on the text poisoned. Show particle system on the main character. Poison particle system. Show you beating the snake. After beating the bat, keep the life bar on screen. Show your life ticking down. Show dialogue, I don't feel so good. Show your character going back the way they came from. Show an antidote in a thought bubble indicating your character wants an antidote. Show your character making it to town. They approach a potion vendor. So how does he asking for an antidote work? This could just be via speech bubbles of like antidote question mark. So option 1, show something like drink. Potion doesn't actually show anything, does it? No. Yeah, let's just pick one of the drink ones. Oh wait, no, it's just not even typing it. What? Oh, there is a potion thing. Okay, we can do that. The vendor responds with... I kind of like that, but if we're going to do that where we just communicate in symbols, then we'd probably want to do that for everything. And I think like happy faces are, we could communicate in like a sick looking face for when they're feeling poison. But we're going to have the text saying poison. So I don't know if we really need that. But option 2 is just say like, I need an antidote. And then vendor says, I don't stock any. All right, you keel over and die, fade to black. Yeah, and then that's it. It's not bad, right? I mean, maybe let's try mocking this up now. Yeah. All right, what else do we have here? Need floating text. I want the intro to be snappy. Mock this up. Figure out the music. Need a way to transition to and from the intro. Okay. Yeah, let's make an intro scene. So let's delete this. Delete me. And let's go start a new scene. Can you make a new scene right from here? Yeah, you can. I wonder if I should be doing that. Okay, I think we put this in town, maybe. Maybe I'll make an intro folder. Create new folder, intro. Oh, wait, that won't really work, will it? Maybe it will. I think this just needs to be one scene. Like what I'm picturing is there's the world, and then your character, the bats and stuff. Maybe you're zoomed in more than you normally would be. There are a bunch of other little to-do things I've got to write here. Oh, wait a second. I have a task called intro, right? Create the intro cutscene. Here it is. Ah, here we go. All right, here's the storyboard. Here's a mock-up. Quickie Joe did the main character before they became a skeleton. I think I already have this saved somewhere. No, I don't, but this was just the sketch that we had, so it looks like this. All right, where'd that issue go? I like the idea of their class archetype being a red mage from Final Fantasy, which essentially means that they're a jack of all trades. I mean, this was all just flavor stuff, right? We're not going to show them casting spells or anything. Oh, we certainly could. Yeah, like, were you magical? Because we don't have to show you using a sword at all. In fact, we would need the animation for that. I'll write that down. That's not bad. No, you could be a mage, in which case you would cast spells on the different enemies rather than slashing at them. Okay, that could work. We showed the adventurer growing up. They cast their first fire spell inside the home to light a torch. Yeah, hilarious, but we're not doing that. Show the adventurer walking out of their hometown in the forest with a sword, and then with a life bar. Yeah, we could start the life bar earlier. Note, may want to start the life, or show the life bar as soon as they leave town. Or maybe just always show it. They get in their first battle against a bat, they beat it, they get in the next battle, they get poisoned, show the main character taking damage, there are all sorts of potions but no antidotes. Oh yeah, we should probably show that, shouldn't we? Yeah, the shop should look like how it does in the real game. There's a potion vendor with various potions for sale on display. Maybe you, no, you shouldn't be able to mouse over these. I don't want it to be too close to what the real game has. Shopkeeper looks panicked. This could be a custom-made emoji. Your character dies. Oh yeah, here's where I wrote it. The shopkeeper says, "Oh, we have tons of health potions though to your dead body." I think that's so funny. I definitely want that written there. You're already dead. Screen fades to black. Screen fades back in. Cameras on you walking across the bridge. You say this looks like a good place for Newtown. One that stocks antidotes, of course. Yeah, I can write this here. Cutscene ends and we enter the tutorial. Okay, what else do we have here? Figure out whether this should even be a cutscene. Maybe it makes more sense for you to control your character and eventually die to poison. I don't think that makes sense. It had to be on rails. Yeah, properly storyboard the cutscene so it's clear what's being made. Maybe mock up each individual scene. Your character leaving home, excited to adventure, entering the forest, fighting enemies, and getting cool loot. I never wrote anything about getting loot in that storyboard. And I'm a little hesitant about it because I don't know what you'd be getting exactly. Like, if you get a weapon or something, wouldn't you expect to equip the weapon? If you're getting like little snake skins or whatever, is that interesting? Are you going to think that whatever it is you earn, maybe you get money? Yeah, maybe you get money by killing. No, but that doesn't make sense, right? Because you don't get money by killing them in the game. How do you get your first 100 gold then? I don't think we answer that. I don't think you get items from these characters. Yeah, because I don't know what you would get, and I think it'd be confusing. Is this already done? Are the skeleton. Yeah, that's already done. What else we have? Figure out if the player should be able to skip this. Maybe if they do, just say, here's a high level. You died. You're now a skeleton. Split the task into many smaller tasks. Yeah, cool. All right. I think we can just start this. I'm going to only loosely follow what's written here. Intro task. And I'll put this inside the issue now. I wrote a design document about this here. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that for now. Okay, let's go make our scene. So we're going to call this... Oh, yeah, there were other things I had to write down in here. Which is... figure out what we're doing about the game scale. The camera zoom. Pressing escape to open the menu, etc. Like, should there be a way to pause this? I don't think so. Although it's not very hard to add. But the intro is only going to be hopefully like 20 seconds long. And you can skip it. So if you missed it, you can always just click new game and just see it again. Okay, so scene name. Let's call this game intro. No, I want the folder to be called game intro. Okay, then new scene in here. Intro. Okay, cool. So we have our node. We need a camera for this. It's got to be pretty similar to what Town has, right? I don't think we need any real UI, except for text, possibly. But the camera's always going to be locked at a certain zoom level. No, it won't be. We'll figure out how we want to do that. All right, we have a town viewport. I don't think we need to worry about that. We can really just have the town, the camera, yeah. All right, so add a node camera. Then we need an environment. We can't just use what we already had, but I probably want to take some bits of it. But I just want to mock this up quickly. So how about this? Let's make a new node. Whoops, node 2D. We'll call this environment. And then we'll give it a tile map layer underneath. The tile map layer will load in its world assets. And we'll go pick something here. I'm going to draw something pretty basic. We're not going to do a whole lot here. The map fill is used so that you can't see outside of this area. But I want to lock the camera to whatever you definitely can and should see. Like we're making up a fake town here. How would we... I guess we need a little bit more beyond the boundaries of this, but we should know what the maximum resolution is that you could possibly see here. I guess we can just copy paste trees again like we did for this. All right, so what's on this base layer? Can I turn off all other layers somehow? Is that easily doable? No, it isn't. Man, I want some way to turn off all of these. I know I can click them all and select them and then do this. No, you can't even do that. What? Okay, well, I guess another way we could do this is just make a new scene and paste it in, right? So copy this and paste. Yeah, this is just green. But if I turn this off, you don't see any of that, right? Yeah. And is this even using a tile? It is. Where's that tile? Oh, there it is. Yeah. So it is the 6th thing in. Okay, let's just take that then. Yes, I have the same thing selected. All right, so there's our base. We're going to eventually draw a town or whatever. We're not going to worry about this too much for right now. Let's throw in some other trees. Tile map layer. All right, load in world. Click one of these things. Here it is. Get some trees. And then we can just add in giant labels. Label. Town label. Town goes here. And then forest goes here. Yeah. You're leaving the town. Oh, wait, hold on. This is something I didn't think about. And this is why I'm glad we're mocking this up at this level of fidelity right now. You're leaving the town and then eventually coming back and going to the potion shop. But I don't want to show you walking forever, right? Should we do some kind of transition? Do we need to transition? Like, I guess problem, I don't want to show you walking all the way to the potion vendor. Like, walking from town would be okay. Maybe you start right at the edge of town. Yeah, you're leaving your town. Oh boy, time to start my very first quest. Okay, so you actually would start at the edge of town. And the potion shop could be one of the first things that you find when you go in. And then, yeah, that's, I guess, how we would do this. So that way we don't need to transition. So let's go add in a little skeleton character. We can't instantiate a worker exactly. We need to add in just an animated sprite, I guess. And then this animated sprite needs the sprite frames we have for the worker, which, oh, we actually do have. Wow, look at that. Okay, so there's your little skeleton. We start you at the edge of town. And that way you just don't see the potion shop. So now let's go get the potion shop. We have a shop scene, but by having a shop scene, it's going to get initialized with a town, I believe. And we could actually do that. We could have it, we could make a fake town for the sake of the intro. But since all we really need are graphics here, and these don't need to be proper locations or anything, let's just take the graphics then, huh? So we want these 3 things, and then probably some item displays. So node 2D shop. Yep. Then we customize the sign to have the right sign on it. Where's that? Oops. There it is. Potion. What am I doing wrong here? What am I doing? Oh, that's what. Cool. Okay. Oh, and then the potion shop's supposed to have a different roof, right? I don't remember what color it's supposed to be. It might even be red. I just don't remember. Yeah, it's red. Okay, that's fine. The intro? Nah. Nah. We're not letting you do the intro. All right, then we need a vendor inside of here. I guess they should probably just look like some generic NPC that you're never going to care about or see again. Do we have a generic NPC? I guess it'll just be another animated sprite. Okay, let's add them in. Animated sprite 2D. And give them a new sprite frames. And then go find the NPCs. Where are they? That's not what I want. Where are these things? I got your back. Characters? Yeah, here they are. Characters. Okay, so I want character. Really, any of these. It doesn't matter. Who's the most obnoxious looking character? Not that we have to pick one necessarily. Because we have these, but then we also have those elves or whatever, right? I don't think we put those in the game. And I don't know if an elf would even make sense for any of that. I guess they should just be the most nondescript character. That way you don't remember that you saw them in the cutscene. Because you'll eventually see them again as a customer. So which one's going to stand out the least? Maybe like that one or... like that one. All right, we'll pick one of those. Doesn't really matter which one. Green hair or orange hair? Probably orange. Yeah, let's go with that. All right, so they're going to be the first vendor. We do reuse them for a customer later. We could always have a custom graphic. I don't even think it matters. So which graphic are they on? This one? So we need to load that up. Characters 1 to 8. Okay, now zoom in and set this to 16 by 20 and just pick that one. And now move them here. Make sure enough of them shows up. Perfect. And then we need some item displays. So we'll add in a sprite 2D. This is the potion vendor. This is your skeleton. You can just change someone's hair color. Yeah, that's true, especially if I'm not going to be animating them. Although I probably will make them blink at some point. All right, so we want some item displays here. Item display. Remember, we're doing this pretty hackily right now. We will probably change this in the future so that we've got some concept of like intro only objects. So maybe item display, we have 3 or 4 of those, and that way we don't need to copy paste them. It doesn't really make too much of a difference though. All right, Atlas texture. Let's load in, what's it called? Market. Yeah, and the item display should be in there. Yep, there it is. Okay, so where is that item display? Market, Atlas, load. You are located at 176.32. All right, 176.32, 1616. Perfect. All right, so there's an item display. We're going to put a few of these down. Another one over here. How many potions would you expect them to have for sale? Probably a decent number. Maybe like 5. Maybe they've got some empty displays. Something like that. Again, not trying to position everything perfectly right now. Then a couple of these will have items on them. So we're going to add another sprite for this. Texture, new Alice texture. Load items. All right, so you are only a potion vendor, so you should only have those kinds of items. And their locations are here. So 1616. Done. We put you there. Then we copy paste this. Maybe stack items so people wonder if they'll be able to do the same. We could do that. I don't want them to be confused by like, is that supposed to be doubled right there? So I'm not sure how they'll take it necessarily. All right, so we'll make this one, what, 32? Oh, we're changing them both. I want this to be unique then. That didn't work. Let's change this to be unique. Why am I not changing this correctly? What's going on here? Make unique recursive. Was it the texture that was problematic? There we go. All right, and some other items. I don't know. Let's paste this here. Maybe put this one. Oops, no. So what am I doing? Put this here, maybe. And then give this a different texture as well. What other graphics should we use? Just got to be color that's not... I'm mocking this up. What do I care? Yeah, yeah, we got some potions. Cool. All right, so there's a shopkeep. We need... What else? You're leaving your town. We show a dialogue. Time to start my very first quest. Characters walk into the forest. I want to show a life bar when they leave town. Yeah, I'd love to connect the life bar to an actual life bar so we could have it take damage. And I should just be able to run this scene. So let's save a new script for this. Source. Game intro. Game intro. Intro. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, game source, game intro. All right, what are we doing? So we're going to make your character... We got to focus the camera on your character. We probably want to fade this in. I think the scene transition node does that. So we just need to figure out where the skeleton is and center the camera on them. So let's get some of these nodes. This is... Oh, they're not even a skeleton at this point, though. It's the main character. Which we never gave them a name. So camera and main character. Let's just get those for right now. All right, private camera 2D camera equals null. Private animated sprite 2D main character equals null. Let's fetch both of those things. Oh, I had the code for that. There we go. This does not have that there. There we go. I'll need to add a scene transition node there. Gotcha. All right, I'll just write that on the to-do list for right now. Add scene transition node to allow for fading in the intro. All right, so camera, isn't there like a look at or something? Yeah, look at. Perfect. And a canvas layer to give it. I gotcha. Okay, so we should be able to just run this scene. All it's going to do is center on the skeleton. That's it. I didn't code anything else. All right, it's very, very tiny. This is the scene for ants. Okay, we have a game scale setting, and this could respect that setting, and probably should respect that setting. The reason it's not is because we don't have the code running that says content scale factor, huh? But it would be running in the main game, right? So can I make this switch right to the intro scene when I just launch the game? I guess that would make this easy enough to test. We just go to main, and instead of launching into a town scene, we launch into the game intro scene. Yeah. Town scene. Okay, yeah. So we'll make a new folder here. Game intro scene. It's in scenes. Game intro. Intro. Good. So now I can just press F5 and I should be able to launch into this. And it should have the right content scale factor, I hope. Yes, it got scaled correctly. Oh, man. The more I think about this, the more I think maybe we should just like double the zoom factor. Because how much do you really need to be able to see? Let's go load it from over here. And then change the camera zoom to 4. Yeah, that's probably better. I don't recall what my content scale factor is set to, though. I think I had it set to 2. Oh, yeah, I can check. I can check by doing this. Local settings. It's 2, yeah. Because I need to eventually think of what happens when people have like a very large monitor. How much of this world would they see that they're not supposed to see? Could probably give that the camera script to control it. Yeah, I'm gonna mock everything up super fast and then try to figure out what should we reuse, because probably there are gonna be a lot of intro things that we just never need to use again. Like, I don't want you to control the camera in the intro. So we don't need any of the input handling stuff. We don't need anything that, like, I don't know, we can just set variables when they make sense. And reusability shouldn't matter too much because this is the only cutscene I have planned for the entire game. And if we need to reuse it, we can always refactor things later. What I am concerned with is the screen resolution, though. There's another thing we could potentially do here. We could change our entire project setting just for this, because there's a display scaling thing. Yeah, here, stretch mode, it's disabled. What we could do is we could just allow this to keep zooming in so that everyone's looking at pretty much the same thing. I guess that's what I want, right? Yeah. For the zooming and positioning. Yeah, I know what you mean. I think we can do a lot of this with like very custom made tweens if we even do need to do that. Instead of our generic, like, well, it takes 3 seconds, like we can make something that looks exactly perfect. Yeah, I think the more I think about this makes sense. We should probably try this. How do we change this on the fly? Copy property path. Now this goes out of everything else we have. So display, isn't there a display server? Yeah. Windows set mode. It's the stretch mode though. Where's that? Is there Windows set? No, where? How do we do that? All right, well, there should be documentation on this. How do you change this at runtime? Huh. Change stretch mode at runtime. Project settings. Really? Project settings? Oh. Okay. And what are the things we can set it to? Disabled canvas items and viewport. Base size specified in width and height. Stretch to cover the whole screen. This means that everything is rendered directly at the target resolution. All right, I guess viewport is what we want. It won't accept when we load to a different scene. We can change it on the window. I don't think you can change the window mode though, right? I'm not positive about that. I also don't know what this thing can be set to. Is this only for strings? Variant, no. So there's probably some enumeration that we need for this. What is it? I don't know. Stretch mode. I don't know where this is. How do we find you? Oh, it is a string. Oh, it says right there, string. Yeah, okay, so then we can set it to viewport. Okay, so now as we change the size of the window, this does not seem to be working. No, this doesn't seem to be working. Aspect keep, that part's fine. Scale mode integer, that's also fine. Well, okay, let's try changing it through here then and just see, is it having an effect? Because I'm maybe not totally sure what this is supposed to look like. Well, it's doing something because now only a tiny bit of it's rendering. I'm not really sure what I'm doing. So I wasn't able to change this properly through the code itself. Oh, only use once on startup and doesn't update on real time changed in game. Well, that's too bad. Then never mind. I think you usually want canvas items. Well, it seems like we can't change it no matter what. Content scale mode. Specifies how the content is scaled when the window is resized. Huh. Is this even a thing that exists? Content scale mode. No, it should just be like that. Why is this not finding anything? Oh, there it is. All right, I guess we can set that to viewport, but will this work? And then how do I do this the way I actually want to do this? Okay, yeah, this did work. Maybe what we should do is make it so that I can press escape and get out of this scene. Make sure that the regular game looks okay. Did I write something in here about this? Viewport. Canvas items. Here it is. No, I think we need viewport for this. Because it even said if you're using pixel art, set it to viewport. Oh, I lost where that documentation was. But then we need to know the viewport size. Hey, Zapvoid. I guess we just change it here. Viewport width and height. Yeah. Can we change that here? Viewport width. Change viewport size at runtime. Seriously? Guess I'm not going to that website. I don't think the project settings are going to matter though. Apparently we can just get the viewport and then set the size. Is that a thing? Yeah, give viewport size equals new vector. Is it not settable? Doesn't contain a definition for size. Huh. Well, what does viewport have? Has the word size 83 times. What does this inherit from? Because the thing it inherits from might have it. It doesn't. I do run an ad blocker, yeah. I run Pi-hole. Size you probably set on the window. Got it. Size. Okay, so new vector 2. Should be a vector 2i. All right, what resolution? I guess we need to figure out what aspect ratio we want first. Except for then we got to render something to the background here, like a skybox. This is what I hate figuring out with this stuff. Maybe this isn't something we should work on at first. So we have it 1920 by 1080, which is, yeah, 1.7. So if I want this to be something much, much smaller, like 540, I set it to 960 by 540. And then we run this, I guess, and just see what happens. Yeah, not in the browser, exactly. What is it doing? I don't know what this is doing. I think I'm seeing just that tree. Oh, nice. I think that's a viewport. So we're only seeing this little bit of it, though. I guess I don't totally understand that part. Unless that's a camera. No, it is a camera. But the camera should be set to look at the skeleton. Oh, it probably is, and that's why we're only seeing that bit. But then why don't we see anything else? All right, let's put another label somewhere. Testeroni. Let's put this down here. Because I think we're seeing that tree. We're not. I don't know where that is then. Is it that tree? I mean, there are only 3, so I'm just going to try all 3 of them. Yeah, it's the one at the upper left. So that means it's not moving the camera. Also, I wonder if I can just do position there. It'd be... No, this doesn't fix anything. I don't know what's going on with that. It's not causing any errors, right? No. Weird. Yeah, weird. Why did I want to change it? So one of the problems we have right now is that depending on your monitor resolution, we show you more and more of the world. We need to not do that. Also not sure, but you may have camera zoom. I do have camera zoom set to 4. But I don't know why that would cause a problem here. I guess we could accomplish kind of the same thing by just zooming in the camera more and more. I just don't want the player to be able to see like empty green space. And depending on your camera zoom having, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't worry about this for right now. We just get rid of this stuff and I instead try to just get the scripting part of this working. I'm still not sure why I can't even do this though. Camera.look at main character.position. Rotates the node so that it's local x-axis. Oh, this is not what I want. I see. All right, we just need to set the camera's position then. Look at us for probably 3D cameras. I think the character is now centered on screen. I guess we could test this by doing this and then just draw a rectangle. And if moving this always has this thing centered, yeah, more or less, right? Yeah. Yeah, I think it's centered on screen. Okay. So then I want to zoom in like what we had originally. I guess we can just set that through code. Camera.zoom equals new vector 2. Set this to 4. Yeah. Why isn't it rendering anything outside of here? That part seems strange to say the least. Oh, I should make it so you can press escape to just quit the game. How do we do that? Quit game. Here it is. Get tree propagate. Okay, cool. Let's put that over here. So if you press UI cancel, it's gonna do that. So now I should just be able to press escape and close the game, right? Nope. Or UI cancel is not what I think it is. But I think it is what I think it is, and I think there's some other problem going on here. I don't know what that would be. UI cancel. Yeah, we have this in a bunch of different spots. Let's put a breakpoint here. Maybe it's that nothing is listening to the close request. Yeah, this is getting hit, so nothing is probably listening to this, which means I must have added a listener for this somewhere. Ah, I did, and it's getTree.quit. Okay, well, that's easy. We probably don't need to mark it as handled if we're quitting anyway. Cool. Nice, nice, nice. All right. Did you change the viewport size in the project settings? I don't think so. No, I didn't. But something weird is going on. What would it be, though? Because what I'm seeing here is this ends where there is clearly more map information. I drew it in. I don't have anything I need to save over here. The camera should be able to render that spot. I don't know why it wouldn't, and I just added a camera and that's it. Very strange. That's also strange. It seems to be exactly half of the screen width. Is that what that is? Is this like 1080? No, it's not. It's 960. So I don't know what's doing that. I guess let's inspect it in the remote scene tree. So it thinks the intro node, I guess, doesn't have a size. If I just move the camera around, what happens here? How do I do this? There we go. Yeah, so there's obviously more world over here. What would cause those black bars to show up? Yeah, it's strange. I don't know what would do that. Is that what I had said in the code before? It is. I wonder if we just change this because maybe it's persisting this somehow. 1920 by 1080. Oh, maybe I have to reload it. Yeah. Excuse me, that's possible. Huh. Now it's at the upper left. Hmm. I think that's because I'm changing the root size. I think I just need to not do that and it'll take the whole screen now. And that reloading the project was the answer. No. Go into project settings now. I think the project settings should be the same that we had them. Yeah. I think. Oh, wait. That is not correct. Yeah, my bad. I didn't realize I had viewport set. All right. Problem solved. Yeah. Whoops. All right. So we've got our character set up. The problem is the display, this content scale factor thing is still going to be an issue. Like what I want to do is I want to say you can only see so much into this game world at any given time, and we always expect you to have sort of this view. Maybe we draw a rectangle around it. We expect every player to be able to see like this much of the game world, and all of the action we do is in this window. So if you see outside of it a little bit, that's okay, but if you see outside of it a lot, that's not okay. So we eventually, I'm gonna paste this into here, like get this to work. Get the viewport to not look weird based on resolution, zoom, or window size. We can set the viewport here and get black bars. I have some ideas for how I eventually want to do that, but I'm not going to worry about that yet. So now we need to show a dialogue saying, time to start my very first quest. And you're walking to the right. So we're going to do this very, very choppily at first. Yeah, let's add their dialogue here, I guess. Label. What do they say? Oh boy, time to start my very first quest. All right, then we position this up here. And probably put a new line in it. Actually, probably just make everything rich text labels by default. Why would I even do this? Fit. And center. Should work fine if you want to use those. I think I do eventually want to use those, yes. But I think I'm going to start very basic. So this is like first line, first message. We're going to hide this by default. Yeah. Like I said, we're going to mock this up pretty rapidly here. Rich text label. And then putting some polish on this should be kind of fun, I think. All right, first message. I shouldn't have called this text label. I don't know why I did. All right. We can have an animation player do everything if we wanted to. And it might make more sense to do that. Like we have one animation player and it's doing kind of everything. The only thing we need to think about after that is, do we ever need to have any sort of input here? Like some cutscenes still have you press A or something to go through the dialogue. But I think if our dialogue is one line long and we show it for long enough, I think it should be okay. And we only have 2 lines of dialogue or 3. Because with the dialoguer, I guess we would have a dismiss button, which we could wait for. Yeah. All right, so this would fade in. And then we kick off showing this. Yeah. I think I do want an animation player in here. All right, let's add a new animation. This is going to be show first message. Can you not rename the track? How do you do that? I accidentally typed it incorrectly. Rename. Okay, add property track on the first message. Set its visibility to insert key on. All right, this is going to show up pretty early on, so let's just set this to... Actually, we don't even need the first node there, right? All right, so after half a second, it turns on. So if we just refresh this, we should see that appear after half a second. Nope, because I don't have autoplay set. Autoplay. Nice. Oh boy, time to start my very first quest. All right, I'd like this to be animated next. This is gonna be so silly. We could just autoplay this animation. You could also keep them in this frame, I think. No, you can't do that. You need to stop it on the animation. I guess that works. You wouldn't look like a skeleton anyway. Time to start my very first quest. All right, maybe we show them slowly walking to the right as they say that. So basically the game fades in and you're already walking to the right. So let's set them to this animation and make them move very slowly. So add a property, main character, position. So at the very beginning of the game, they're going to be somewhere. And then we're going to just immediately start moving them to the side. Let's make this 10 seconds long. So this is going to be somewhere off to the right. So there or so. So that wherever they are on this thing. Why doesn't this actually animate their position? Is it because it modified their transform here? Yeah, it did. All right, I didn't think I needed the first keyframe, but I guess I do. All right, now we set that back to somewhere over here. So they move to the right. Whoosh. Yeah, I want them to move even slower than that. I mean, we could just make them not move as far. That would also work. Okay. A propeller hat and a lollipop. Like 12 years old. They run a whole town and they're a kid the whole time and you just never know. Yeah, maybe we should just reword this. I guess it'd also be more succinct if we got rid of the first 2 words. Maybe time for my very first quest. Okay, while they're moving, we probably want the camera to center on them. So let's have a process here. and then just set the camera to look at them. Private void look at main character. Camera dot position. There we go. So now delete this and this. And so the only way you'd know that they're moving though, because their background is green, is if there were different tiles. So we need to add in some other tiles here. What is this tile map layer? Trees. Okay, so let's put a tree right near them. Otherwise you'd never know that they're moving. I am still messing something up somehow. Did I put that on the base layer? No, it's on the tree layer. What, shouldn't I be able to click? Oh, that worked. Weird. I don't know what I did wrong the first time. All right, so we put some trees here and here. And now you'll be able to see them move. So here's our wonderful cutscene so far. Yeah. Now they're looking kind of jittery doing that. I don't know why that would be. This doesn't have any easing, and it's just setting the position directly. We might have some kind of like, don't use pixel coordinates or do use pixel coordinates when we shouldn't have that. We could also just have the camera smoothly animate. Because, yeah, definitely looks jittery, right? If we didn't move the camera, what would that look like? No, even they look jittery there. What's doing that? Can we reset the whole scene when I press R? I guess we could. I could get the animation player and have it so that when I press a key, it goes back to the beginning. Yeah, let's get that. Animation player. Because of the walking effect. Walking seems faster than movement. I think even if they weren't animated, I think it would look jittery, but I'm not actually totally sure. Is action just pressed? UI R? Is that how we even do this? Play. Show first message. The only way this would work is if we also had a keyframe at the beginning here, which was with this off. Otherwise, resetting wouldn't actually do anything. Let's see if that functions. So now we should be able to reset this at any time. No, it's probably not a recognized input. Input map R. No, it's not a thing. Okay, well, whatever. We can just have it be page up. That's what it is, right? Yes. And then we should also have this. Cool. It's not working. What am I doing wrong? Is it breaking into this? Yes, it is. Animation player.play. So what does this do? Plays the animation, custom blend times and speed can be set. Optional effects when switching to a new animation track. That's from end. The animation will be updated the next time the animation player is processed. So should I just stop this first? Because I don't know why that wouldn't work. Nice. Okay, now it works. So we have a way of resetting this. And apparently this is not at the 0 mark here. Wonder if there's a way to... Oh, there is. Oh, nice. I didn't know you could do that. You can just set that to 0 there. So now there should be no lag. Got the 9 in there. The label should just be hidden immediately. Yeah, nice. 9. Why does that look so weird? Let's turn off the animation and see if that's somehow causing an illusion here. It looks jittery. I don't know what's doing that though. I am just animating this from here to here. It should be linear. Yeah, the easing is just set to 1. So it should be going up, let's see, by whatever the distance between these two things is. It's like 70 something pixels over the course of 3.3 seconds. So we can figure out how many pixels per second that is. It's roughly 22 pixels per second. There shouldn't be a problem with that. I guess we could do this through code if we wanted to. In fact, we could even have a function here that just calls like start first player movement. What are the other options on the right of the animation dock? There are easings. There's continuous discrete capture, nearest linear cubic, and clamp and wrap. I think just doing linear movement should be fine. Yeah. Hey, Freak Technic. Are you also having a good Friday? Yeah, I'd say it's been okay. Okay to good. I don't think I've been very productive. We're finally working on the intro for the game. How was your Friday? Good. Oh, wait a second. This looks jittery even here, doesn't it? What would cause that to happen? Something about the FPS on the bottom? Apply snapping to nearest integer FPS. If I turn that off, what happens? Still looking jittery. This is nearest FPS 30. Apply snapping to timeline cursor. Apply snapping to selected key. Oh, I think it's only when you click stuff, though. Group tracks by node, display as a plain list. What does that do? Oh, interesting. Only show tracks from node selected in tree. Ah, that's what I thought you might be referring to, Freak Technique. It was related to interpolation between tick rate or something. Yeah, I guess I don't know when the animation player is applying this stuff. Playback options, auto capture, default blend time, active deterministic. I don't know. All right, well, we don't have to do this through the animation player. I'll just have it kick off something that makes the character move. Although then we're gonna have to manage a bunch of states here, right? I guess we could have scripts for all the intro characters to tell them what to do. It's really just gonna be controlling the movement anyway. All right, so public void start player movement, right? This is this is kind of silly, but yeah, private vector to player or like main character target. I guess we want to know that they even have this thing and just don't set it to anything by default. So start player movement right is just gonna do this. New with the thing we had in the animation player. 412 by 241. And then we get rid of this. And instead, at some time, I guess it could just be at the very beginning. In fact, we could just set this at the very beginning. And then in process, if main character target is not equal to null, main character position, we need the main character's speed, I guess. It's quite the contrast indeed. Could set the animation callback to physics or change the method to immediate versus deferred. I don't know if any of those would change the effect. I'm not sure either. I'm going to go with this for right now. What speed do we move these at in the game? I think it's 100 pixels per second. Is that right? That can't be right. Default speed is set to 80. 80 pixels per second is 5 tiles per second. But I kind of want them to be a little more leisurely than that. So main character speed is 60. All right. So now what we do here is if they have a target, we just do main character. Actually, if I just delete all this, it should know what I want to do, right? Main character position. There's no move toward. But yeah, I guess we get a vector from where we are to where we're going, then normalize it, multiply by the speed, and add it to where we are. Multiply by the delta as well. Isn't there a move in something? No, because it's an animated sprite. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so vector to direction, main character target minus position. Then we normalize this. Then we do plus equal direction times those things. Yeah, perfect. All right, so this should cause them to move. However, when we reset this thing, it's not going to set them back to where they were. Main character target equals null. And main character position equals whatever their starting position is. Kind of silly that I even might have to do that. I guess we could store this over here. Is there a place to see the keyboard layout? Yeah, I've got it in this command. Welcome in. Main character's start position. So what is their starting position? I guess we just get it when we fetch this here. And then here we reset it. Okay, let's try that. I don't know if it's going to look any smoother. It certainly looks smoother. Until it gets to the end. And they're moving way too fast. No, now it's jittery again. So I think this just has to do with... I can't reset this. Oh, it's page up. And then page up doesn't call into this thing. How fun. Yeah, I think it has to do with just how quickly they're moving. So if I slow this down a lot to 1 pixel per second, okay, now let's try 16 pixels per second. That should be 1 tile. So they should move 1 tile every second. And if I set this to 2 tiles per second, okay, now it looks a lot smoother. So maybe that's the level we have this at. Moving at least 2 tiles per second. Oh wait, is this just temporal aliasing by not matching a tile multiplier? It might be. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Although I don't think that should be happening. I guess it's because we're rendering the pixel coordinates. Yeah, I think we turn that off. Let's try that for a sec. Snap to pixel. We have this off actually. Oh no, we have this on. Snap 2D transforms. Okay, so if I turn that off and then run this, now I think we're gonna get sprite bleed. All right, so now it's moving very smoothly. Yeah, so that fixed that problem. So it is that we're snapping integer coordinates, and it's very obvious because of how zoomed in we are. Yeah. Oh, I can turn the animation back on. Could disable that for this viewport. I can, but I think part of the reason why we did that is so that we don't have sprite bleed. But maybe it's just turned off everywhere. We have a town viewport somewhere. Here it is. Yeah, it's just off. Okay. Well, then that was stupid. It turns out the project setting doesn't matter when your viewport overrides it. Well, I'm glad we figured that out. Get tree dot, or no, get viewport dot snap equals false. So now we don't need to do this. We don't need this. We don't need this or this. Or this or this or this. Well, the character speed we should probably have. Yeah, in fact, maybe we should still give destinations and just give a speed of how to get there. Most of the time, that's just going to be like walk left, walk right. Let me think about this. Then again, we could just say where everything needs to be. And if it moves slightly faster, you'll never notice. Yeah, I think let's get rid of this for now. And that. And that. And now we're good. Yeah, good. So now we put this back in the way that we had it. The animation player turns this on. And now the characters move to the right smoothly. Hooray. Yeah, so what we want to do is probably slow down their animation. We can't do that unless we make their sprite frames unique. Or we could do it through a script. I guess we can do it through the script. We got to change the FPS. Here it is. How do we do this? Set walk animation speed. We get the sprite frames and then do this. All right, so walk sprite sheet converter has the ability to do that. Walk sprite sheet converter, set animation speed of the main character to the FPS. The FPS being... Oh, we have it set here. At 50 pixels per second, we want it to be at 4 FPS. Let's just set this to 4. We're actually not even moving at 50. We're moving at like 22, so this should be 3 or something. How easy is it to build the animation player's timeline in code, and how silly is it doing it? 4 is probably the smallest we should do. To build it in code, it wouldn't be that hard. All the animation player is doing is calling functions and interpolating values. So we could do that with tweens or just calling functions. All right, now I want the camera to follow the player again. There. So now we will slowly follow them, moving like 5 tiles to the right. Wow, look at that. This guy's questing. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we probably want to fade in their message and not just have it be visible or not visible. I meant literally using the animation player, but setting the timeline based on our speed value and such. I don't think I know what you mean. But if it's what I'm thinking, then I think it's silly. That's why I say I don't think I know what you mean. What did I just say I wanted to do? Oh yeah, fade in the thing. So their first message. Yeah, we can do this with the animation player if we want to. Instead of changing visibility, we could change its modulate, add track, property, first message, modulate. All right, insert a key there. We want this at 0. It is. Insert a key here. These should both be transparent, or at least that one should be. Yeah, I want to fade in this message. I don't know how long it should take. I don't know if they should start walking already. I think they should already be walking. Does it make sense to say time to start a quest while you're already walking? I don't know. I'm so bad at this stuff. What should they say? Should they be walking when they comment on their first quest? Or is it like time to start my quest and then walk? Or should we show them getting the quest? I don't want this to be super long. Set the animation player and then decide that you want one section to be faster. What's the play there? Do you split multiple animations? Do you have to adjust the whole timeline to shorten just one section? We could use multiple animation players. The other thing is that we have different animations in here, and the animations have their own time scale. Or we could set a time scale at least, because there is the speed scale at the upper right here. So at any point we can just like double this, and then when we change animations, just set it back to like 1x or something. So I'm still not totally sure how I want to do this stuff. And I think that even in the worst possible case of how we do this, that it's not going to be too crazy because we have so few elements to the storyboard. But when I'm struggling with decisions like how should the character even say that they want to be on their first quest, then I think it might take a little bit longer. Yeah, I don't think we should start there. I think it's back to the storyboard for a second. Problem is that they would already be walking for this. Maybe they say something instead like, I need 4 bat wings and 2 snake skins for my quest. Well, what are we trying to communicate here? Pretty much just that you're excited. Yeah. The goal of this is just communicate that you're excited to be an adventurer so that we set up for your adventuring days to end very abruptly. They could buy their sword from there or something. If they bought a weapon, that would also indicate that you already had money to begin with, because you have to have money to begin with, because otherwise how do you start a town? But it would still be the same problem where you have to indicate that like where do we drop you into this story? Hey, Bear Like Lion. How's it going? It's going well. I'm a little stuck on the storyboard here. Like, I wanna keep this all short, which is why we kind of just like jumped to here. You're on your way out of town. You want to be an adventurer, and we need to somehow communicate that you're excited about this, and I guess just show you leaving town. And then the very next thing is you get into a battle. So maybe we started this a little too late. Maybe we need to rewind and show you gearing up, or maybe getting the quest from an NPC, or waking up out of bed and then doing any of that stuff. Where did Pokemon Red started you in your bedroom, right? Opening scene. I think it started you in... I can't find this, but I'm pretty sure you started in your bedroom. And you walk downstairs and you pass your mom out of your house. It's not to say we have to do it that way. I just was curious where they started those. Well, I wonder what later Pokemon games do. If I recall correctly, the story behind Pokemon was like you had to be 11 years old or something before you could catch a Pokemon. And then you went to the DMV and got your driver's license. and your Pokemon catching license. Yeah. Hmm. Okay, well the other thing we can do, here's my other idea that I had is we can show snippets of stuff and have transitions or even show multiple scenes at once, sort of like a comic book. What I was thinking of here is we say something like or we could even have some we could have some narrative text like it was your first day of being an adventurer. Yeah, anyway, the idea for showing snippets of things would be like, hey, I'm ready to quest, and then it shows a little snapshot of you buying an item, and then a little snapshot of you like leaving town, and then a little snapshot of you encountering an enemy. I kind of like the narrative framing aspect of like, but this is telling instead of showing, I feel. Show instead of telling. Well, it's not that bad for this game, I think. But if we were like, it's your first day of being an adventurer, you just bought gear, and you headed out to face the world, and you get into a fight with a bat. The moving truck. Oh, wow. I don't think I saw that. Narrative is something I really struggle with. Hoping to tackle it in the next project. The thing I'm trying to communicate is so basic, I feel, that I shouldn't be struggling with this. I just want, like, the overall story is you set out to be an adventurer and you died in your second battle, basically. That's it. We need to expand that a little bit. I mean, I got a couple of different shots here, but yeah, I think I do without text. Yeah, and I'm okay with having the main character have some text. All right, what would it look like if we started from the quest part of this? We started from getting a quest from someone. It would probably look like this. Like you walk or like you see an NPC with an exclamation mark above their head. They communicate to you that they want bats and snakes killed in the area. You give them a thumbs up. Yeah, something like this could potentially work. That way we don't really have any text. It's just you walk up to the NPC communicates through some like pictures. Like we show a picture of a couple bats and we show a picture of a snake. And it's like, oh, okay, you need those dead, right? And they, thumbs up, cool, you've accepted the quest. Now they leave town and then the rest of the stuff happens. Why the second battle? Well, so the first battle is you're fighting against bats. The second battle, you get poisoned by a snake. It could be that you get poisoned by a snake in your first battle, but the point was just to make you think it's a regular RPG at first, and it's not. Yeah, I kind of like this idea, but I still think we need some framing text like, I don't know. Really makes you appreciate what they did in the movie Up. Like, I don't know, the first 10 minutes, I think, doesn't have a single line of dialogue. And they communicate way more than I'm ever going to communicate. They just show pictures of bats and snakes and maybe other creatures and say, yeah, you give them a thumbs up. We need some amount of context setting. Like, if we don't somehow communicate that it's your first day of being an adventurer, then I think we've failed here. Yeah, I think we also need to communicate that. That it's your first quest ever. How would we like if we showed 3 scenes at once? Like show you waking up and getting out of bed, show you accepting a quest, show you walking into the forest. Then after those three show, switch to just a single scene at a time. Yeah. I don't even have a picture in my head for what game does this already, this style of showing multiple scenes at once. It's not like it's an uncommon thing to see in movies. And I know Queen's Gambit did it. They'd have like a scene playing at the upper left and then another thing at the bottom right and another scene at the bottom left and upper right. And it was just to show that like, hey, progress is happening. We're not going to show you every single shot of it. But they did it in a really artsy way. I was thinking of just using it as a means of communicating. No art allowed here. Well, how else do we communicate that it's your first adventure? Because getting out of bed doesn't even communicate that. You need to get out of bed every day. Yeah. Yeah, I think they need to say something in that case. Getting out of bed is an adventure in itself. And I have an adventure every day too. It's your very first adventure. We could just have the main character say, it's finally time for my first adventure / quest. I think something like this. Approach a shop, buy a sword, talk to the NPC, say kill monsters, say yeah. Start walking out of town, fade out, fade in. Yeah. Yeah, I think we need something like this. What did I have already in here? Some message about time for my very first quest. Let's go on the animation player over to here and then change this label to say it's finally time for my very first quest. Why would it be? Do I need to answer that question? Why wouldn't you have done this anytime sooner? Maybe it's that you finally got enough money, but you got too much money, or else how'd you start a town? What else would stop you from questing? I guess family obligations. Maybe questing is only for courageous people. You mustered up enough courage. I don't really know. Previous job as a town mayor. That's how you have the experience to start Skelletown. And yeah, and why would you have to wait for your first adventure? It can't be money because you have way more than enough. Because you end up with enough when you're dead to start an entire town. Maybe some other reason. Maybe you were waiting for a special staff to be delivered. Weapon to be delivered or crafted, to be crafted. Yeah, maybe crafted. It's like Harry Potter. Need the perfect wand. Why does that have to be the first adventure? Because I think there's a lot of humor value in you dying on your first adventure. And then for the rest of the game, you're just dead. I think that's important. If this were just like adventure number 37, I don't think it's as funny that you die. I don't think the story needs to be airtight. I know. I think maybe this is the lingering effects from this morning of me just not making a ton of progress. I do kind of like the idea though of you getting some special weapon and then you being like, okay, now I can finally adventure. Adventure, yeah. Or maybe it's passed down to you from a village elder or your dad or somebody. I need an animated show. You're the first person who animated one of the Skeleseller memes. Where do we even find that? Memes? Oh, hey, there it is. Yeah. This is Sinestella's artwork. I think I want to put this on hold for a bit. But I've been putting everything on hold. I think it all points to needing to take a break. Could be one of the rare items you find later when fighting an elite. I mean, I do like the idea of that being what stops you from adventuring. Like you needed some item. Let me go back to main. Set this back to town scene. I want to make sure I didn't break anything. Hey, Hypnotic Fox. Yeah. Man. Maybe you got your like iconic cloak from somebody. Because this is the cloak you have even when you're dead. No one said you can't wear clothes. Guess I don't need it anymore. May as well sell it. Wait, well, I don't think I follow that. Are you saying like when you beat it in the actual game, it's saying how someone else became an adventurer? Could also show how 1,000 reasons held you back, family, chores, stuff. I kind of like this idea of you getting a cloak. Take a picture of this. Hey, Professor. Are you looking for the newest release or are you looking for like when it's going to launch? Where's this thing written down? Maybe you were getting your iconic cloak. Release date. Yeah, it'll probably be in September sometime, thereabouts. June is when Next Fest is, and we're just prepping the demo for that. And then we're going to figure out what we need to do to launch, work on content, any other localization stuff. Picked by someone else to end up being a boss's drop. I am not following this. I'm sorry. I don't think this is very complex. I mean, if the intro you were waiting for a weapon, you could later find that weapon in the actual game, having a piece of flavor commentary by the skeleton about the item. Oh, I see. Yeah. June to September advertising. No, June to September we're working on content. So now until June is going to be prepping for Next Fest. Is like polish, making the intro, whatever else we have to do. And then June until launch is going to be content, balance, any remaining features, testing, etc. Because right now, all we have in the game are the same locations you've pretty much always seen since I started working on the game, which is what, like 4, 6, 8, 7. Sorry, I don't. It's not how you count. Oh my god, I gotta go. I just gotta go. My brain's not working. Um, yeah. I really should have stopped in the morning. I feel bad because I wanted to get stuff done today. And I don't think it's in the cards. When's the next fest? The next fest is June 9th. Yeah. So yeah, much content to do. Yeah, we have whatever, some number of zones, like some number of adventurers, some number of bosses. We've got a lot more of that to work through, and then the balance of the game. You need some artwork for that stuff. And then there's a lot of stuff we can do. Like we can add better controller support. I don't think it's necessary for launch, but it'll probably help a lot. So yeah, things like that. But yeah, I'm gonna get going. I'm sorry, just today hasn't been the most productive day. But next week is gonna be the Twitch front page on Wednesday. And I bet we'll see a whole bunch of times during that day, like, hey, why is the view count so high? For whatever reason, some people only visit the stream when they see something orders of magnitude higher than what it normally is. And then they're like, what's going on here? I had to be like, oh, I got raided, or I'm on the front page. We're going to raid L:Q. He's a great streamer. Hope you have a good time over there. ALSRP. And yeah, if you have not wishlisted Skeleseller, please do. If you want to join Discord, there's the link. I'll see you all on Monday. Sorry for the bad stream. Have a good weekend, though. Take care.